My name is Alan Wake. I'm a writer. I came to Bright Falls with my wife, Alice. I told myself I could rest here, sleep here, and forget about my work. I thought we could be happy here.
Vi sidder her i Helsinki i Xbox's lille kælder, meget, meget hemmelig kælder her i Finland. Sidder med udviklerne fra Remedy, som står bag Alan Wake, der kommer her senere i år. Et spil, der har været meget, meget længe undervejs. Jeg havde blandt andet en snak med dem under E3 sidste år, men altså nu skulle spillet så endelig være for mig. So, Oscar, quite short and sweet, Alan Wake.
Yeah, well, let me tell you about Alan Wake. He's a best-selling writer, but he's got a problem. You know, he hasn't managed to write anything in over 2 years, and in a hope to gain back his creative flow, his wife Alice takes him away to the beautiful Pacific Northwest, to Bright Falls, to gain back his creative flow. But when she vanishes out of trace, Wake finds himself trapped in a nightmare. Worst of all, a thriller that he doesn't even remember writing is now coming true before his very eyes, word for word. So, you know, from a high concept, Alan Wake's a psychological action thriller. And we're trying to give the players this heart-pounding thrill ride. And we've combined the mind of a psychological thriller with a cinematic action game. This dark presence has woken up in the small town of Bright Falls, and it's taking over everything in its path, from people to animals to machines to inanimate objects, and turning them violently against Wake. And Wake's trying to unravel the mystery and ultimately save his love.
The game has been under development for quite a long time. Are we finally going to see the game? Can you promise me that?
I can definitely promise you that. Alan Wake will be out on May 21st, and yes, it's been a long development process for us, but you know, the Remedy games are ones that, you know, we craft with a small studio, a small team of around about 45 people, to something that we put our heart and souls into, and we're proud of when we release it. So, you know, we never anticipated that it would take this long, but we can only be as good as our last game, and we want to make sure that every game we put out there is a piece of art.
Of course, the thriller and the historical part is quite huge and important for the game. But the action part could be a bit trivial. How do you think about that?
You know, the action definitely needs to have an escalation, and we've made the game to, you know, the game has been fully playable since last May. And this has been a long road coming back home for release now on May 21st. And, you know, the reason why we've gone to this long road is to get everything just right. So we've been working a lot on the action as well. I mean, it's an action game, right? And video games are interactive entertainment, and they should be fun. In order to have that fun factor, you have to have a clear escalation in enemies and weapons and so forth. So, you know, we've definitely gone for putting enough variation in there that it always feels compelling and it always feels challenging.
We have seen some cutscenes from the game, and you are trying to be a lot like a series, like Lost, for instance. And so we have this previously on Alan Wake.
Yeah.
Will we, when we come to the end, see to be continued? Are you planning on an Alan Wake 2, or will we get to an ending when we have played through?
It's a good question. We're not going to end Season 1. We're calling this game Season 1, if you like. But we're not going to end Season 1 on a cliffhanger. You know, we're not that mean. This is going to be a conclusive and satisfactory ending, and the player would definitely reach all of the goals that they needed to reach and resolve the mystery. But just like in TV series, you leave a few doors open for a bigger story. And you know, we've always thought of Alan Wake to be something bigger than just one story. So we've planned to do DLC as well. And we haven't started working on the DLC yet. We're polishing the hell out of this baby right now and just getting it, you know, the final little tweaks for release. After that, we'll start working on the DLC. You should think about the DLC as standalone episodes, if you like, which will be a bridge between Season 1 and Season 2. So they'll give you more story context, but they won't be directly necessarily part of the story.
Are we going to switch between daylight and night, or is it just one long nightmare?
Yeah, it is quite a nightmare. But you are going to have daytime scenes. So this is a thriller. I mean, with a thriller, so the player doesn't get immune to the things that are happening. You have to be able to give them a roller coaster of emotions, and that's what you're going to get from Alan Wake, is a thrill ride. You're going to be in the nighttime, where you're going to have nighttime scenes which are going to be very intense. Your heart will be pounding, your pulse is racing, you are in that element and almost shaking, if you like. And just as you know, we can then transition quite quickly to a daytime scene, and the daytime scene is we calm the player down, we get your heart rate back to normal, and you know, you're meeting these quirky locals that are telling silly jokes, and you're interacting with them, and we're foreshadowing some of the things that are going on. And just as you're getting comfortable with the beautiful daytime environment, you see the nighttime coming in, and you know that the nightmare will start again.
Yeah, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, and I hope your fans out in Denmark will like Alan Wake when it comes out in May 21st.
We hope so too.
Yes. All right.